Hello everyone, this is Supersnoopy here, back with another SWTOR Republic video. Today I have for you guys another SWTOR Republic mini guide video. In today's mini guide video, we're just going to be going over how to get unlimited companion gifts, or essentially, get unlimited of one particular companion gift. Now, a little disclaimer just right off the bat, you do need to have the Shroud of Memory Knights of the Fallen Empire bonus chapter for this to work. It's going to be essentially, just trying to speed run this whole entire chapter to get a nice, good old, set of some companion gifts. So that's kind of the thing right here. To, of course, note, now I'm not sure if they will put this on the GTN or, the cartel market later, at a later date, but at least at the time of recording this video, you can only actually access this if you decided to, of course, stay subbed for one of the bonus, one of the bonus things for Knights of the Fallen Empire. So if you guys enjoy this SWTOR Republic mini guide video, as always, if you guys enjoy these videos, then make sure to leave a like. And if you guys want some game mints, then check the link in the description down below, catalytic game mints. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys in this guide. Alrighty guys, so let's get into this right now. So the first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to go to the chapters in the content section of your UI. Once you click this, you will find the Knights of the Fallen Empire stuff, and then at the bottom you will find the Shroud of Memory. So of course, if you do have this unlocked, you will be able to simply, grant the mission, then you will be able to launch it. It will be put in this area as always, and you'll just have to complete the chapter. So of course, as you can tell right here, we have 10 of these, self-learning matrices. Now these are very useful because they're 10 legendary companion gifts. And to be honest, this isn't exactly like the best way to, farm companion gifts and just get a bunch of stuff. But definitely is a very good way if you are a preferred player slash free-to-play player that actually has this chapter, has access to it. But, I mean, it's also helpful for a subscriber because, of course, they want to get companion gifts without really doing much. And this is a very good option. Now, a couple of recommendations I would make is obviously have a character that is 70. Obviously, I mean, this whole entire chapter, all the enemies are set to 65, so you overlevel them by 5 levels, so they will be taken out pretty quickly since you will have more damage output and stuff since you're a higher level. I also recommend setting the companion you get in this chapter to damage it to just help with taking down the enemies very fast. Obviously, I mean, the standard stuff where you just skip all of the dialogue just by spacebarring through the cutscenes, and then you can complete this pretty rapidly. But yeah, I mean, overall, the one thing, obviously, with the little disclaimer, is you do need the Shroud of Memory in order for this to actually work. Now, I've heard that they have tried it, or they might plan on putting this into the cartel market as an option for a chapter. So it is kind of like a farm where you do need this whole entire chapter to actually succeed with it. But, I mean, it still is an option, of course. It's definitely something to keep in mind. Like I said, the one thing to note is if you decide to essentially, speedrun this, is try to, I mean, you can just try to obviously skip a bunch of trash mobs and stuff like this, but still, the one thing to note is definitely try to take down the enemies as quick as possible, like I said, because I mean, you're not here for the story, you're here for that quality farming. So of course, I mean, the one thing I definitely noticed with this chapter is it can take quite a while, but if you are pretty fast, in the sense that, you just try to rush through everything, you spacebar everything, you can get through this very rapidly. Like I said, I mean, the one thing to know, of course, is make sure that your companion is set to damage. Make sure that you are, of course, just taking down enemies as quick as possible. Don't really waste time for healing. Kind of think of this as like a speed run in a sense that, you're just trying to complete everything as quick as possible. You just want to get to the end ASAP. And that's a good thing about this is, especially with this chapter, there is a lot of story elements just kind of being talked about in this. So the good thing is there's not much gameplay you actually have to go through to complete this chapter. You also get credits and stuff along the way. So it's definitely very reliable, but I mean, you can of course use these companion gifts to sell on the GTN, or of course you can use these companion gifts just to keep the farm. And another little small disclaimer, of course, with this companion gift, it really only works on droid companions. But even though that is the case, it still can be useful to actually get other companion gifts because, of course, you can sell one of these on the GTN and then you can just kind of essentially do a little trade-in for another companion gift. Now, obviously, making this video, there's a good chance that there'll be a ton of these flooding the market. most likely. I know that some people have already kind of like figured this out, but I haven't really said anything. But the one thing I did notice is no matter how many times you actually continue to complete this chapter, you will get to more of these companion gifts. So you can just continue to actually complete the chapter, just get more companion gifts, and then of course you can sell them on the GTN. Just kind of do like a trade-in, or of course you can just continue to rank up your companion. So that's definitely something that's really reliable. Another thing I would recommend also is just in general when it comes down to I say like kind of like speedrunning tactics, is I would highly recommend not really using checking out. That's an ability where you jump back, but the big problem with it is it completely I say it kind of like wastes your time, mainly because when you use it, it just puts almost everything on cooldown and it does almost no damage. So one thing I would recommend is just essentially spam blindside, use terminate whenever you possibly can. And those are like kind of like the few things to really note is that even though it's like an AoE ability, it can be really reliable. Just because I mean use terminate, just use that when it's not on cooldown. It does a lot of damage, even though it's like an AoE ability. Then use Rail Blast when it's an option, and then you can just continue to spam blindside. Essentially, charging in wastes some time, checking out wastes some time, but these few abilities actually can be very reliable if you want to completely, kind of like to speedrun this. The one thing that is annoying, as you can probably see right now with this gameplay, is the more you actually do this, obviously as you can tell, the more you do this, it does take a while because there's a lot of cutscenes in this chapter. Don't get me wrong, definitely really good just for like the story aspect and stuff, but for the speedrunning aspect, just trying to complete this as quick as possible, it definitely does hinder some of the ability. But it still is all good. But yeah, hopefully they don't nerf this. But even if they do, then this will still last for quite a while. At least I hope. So that's just a quick little mini guide of how to get unlimited companion gifts. Essentially just going with the Shroud of Memory bonus chapter. So if you guys enjoyed this SWTOR Republic mini guide video, as always, if you guys enjoy these videos, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one.